My name's Michael and I'm an addict, and I never really know what I'm going to say when I come to a meeting and do a share other than my name's Michael, I'm an addict, and that I want to thank God for waking me up this morning, because there were many days it was quite possible I wasn't going to wake up, and there was even more days that I had wished I hadn't woke up near the end, because it wasn't white doves down the laser drome and everybody jumping around and loving each other. It was me crying on my own, desperate really. So I used to go to bed like hoping I wouldn't wake up, and I used to wake up thinking, oh no, not again. Although my spirit was kind of deadened to the fact that I had no choice but to go out and do the same thing I'd done yesterday. Within our third tradition, it talks about it's just a desire. And everybody comes from different places, and you may use differently, you may come from different lifestyles, and it's up to you to identify yourself to see if you say you're a member, if you are. My story is that I'm an intravenous heroin user who likes to who injects crack cocaine as well. And I tried to do that daily. Well, I did do that daily unless I got arrested. So that's kind of how it was. It was like that, and I didn't think there was any way out of that. And the enjoyment had kind of left. It was a survival thing, but the enjoyment of it, like as I spoke about, a dove down the laser drome, had long gone, and it was pitiful, and I felt a bit embarrassed, and I just didn't know how I'd ended up like that, but it felt like there was no way out. That's what it felt like, that the only way out would be the end. So I guess I do apologise, because some people in here have heard me, not this Monday, but last Monday. That's the price we have to pay, is to listen to each other over and over again. I'm afraid. I'm really sorry, but that is how it is. Oh, not him again. I'm the same. I avoid that. I try and do a literature-based meeting to do that, because I'm ever so non-judgmental. But yeah, so I guess where I finished up is where all gangsters finished up. I ended up at my nan's, and she was because my mum couldn't cope anymore. I was the eldest grandchild. I was the favourite, and she used to give me a little bit of money every day to go and use, really, that to try it, because I had been in and out of prison, and she was just trying to be helpful. She got in trouble with the chemist for keep going around trying to buy night nurse or something else or something. She kept going to different ones for me. She was really trying to help. That's where I ended up at, and it was under the agreement that I attended a drop-in centre in Staines, it's just outside West London, and so I said, yeah, I'll do that, and I didn't think much would come of it. But I just knew that I was getting a little bit of money. I was still stealing money, but I was getting a little bit of money to start me off in the morning, and I had somewhere to stay, and so I did that. And then I got a phone call one night saying you can come in. It wasn't a detox centre. They called it a crisis intervention centre. It was in the Angel. And I remember getting the call, and it was like I just wanted to run. I really wanted. I wanted to run, but I ended up. They put you in this little. I guess it's like, I'm not sure if it's a padded room, but it's certainly a closed room in a hospital, pretty local, until they come and pick you up, because I was having a crisis, right? It was a crisis, and they took me to this place. I really didn't have a clue what was going on. I didn't know that I wanted. I didn't know I wanted to stop. I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew that I was here and I was going there. And they did this thing. It was called a blind detox. So everybody got the same level of green liquid, and some of it had more methadone in than others, right? So some, because of how they did it. And I was just convinced that mine was just green, sugary water, and everybody else was being topped right up. Do you know what I mean? It was like there was no control. It was just fear. And of course, it was quite a short process. It was like 10 days. You go from, which is fairly quick, I think, but it was. I went into not sleeping really quickly, didn't have a clue what was wrong with me, but just not sleeping, which was all right for the first couple of nights, until you start really wanting to sleep, but you can't, and you watch the night turn into day again, and you know you're not going to sleep again. The birds are singing, and which was really torturous, you know, along with the legs, but the not sleeping, I just remember it was horrible. And there was a nice nurse in there, and I hadn't slept for a while, and I was whinging about not, you know, like I want a totally pain-free detox. One little twinge and I'm moaning and do you know what I mean? It needs to be, you're all right already. And she said she'd put some lavender oil on my pillow, and that was like some more nights without sleeping, but just smelling lavender. But it was a kind thing to do. And anyway, they winged me out. To a place in Brighton to do 12-step treatment. I was convinced. I really, honestly was convinced that I would still be able to. I just thought I needed to stop taking heroin and crack cocaine. That I would still be able to, like, maybe even do a bit of Charlie and Ease, but I had no idea about the abstinence based 12-step program. Do you know what I mean? I just thought, this is the stuff, and I can have a drink, a bit of a puff, and go out partying. It's all going to be all right. Anyway, I kind of learnt about that, and within there, to a certain extent, I learnt about consequences, but I stayed abstinent within there, and I didn't complete it because I just had I was just so, you know, like when you're so fearful, when, like, say, you're so sensitive, really, like, ultra sensitive, and somebody says something, and I just, like, took it in, twisted it round, made it offensive to me, and then thought I needed to defend and protect myself in a really aggressive way, and they asked me to leave, so I got kicked out, basically. Many people told me that's how you complete treatment, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't promote that. That I didn't say that. They said that to me. They're really irresponsible. And a guy in the fellowship, I hardly knew him. He said, "Right, listen. If you go to meetings and you can stay clean, you can stay with me for a week." And so I did that, and I stayed there like 3 months. You know, like we like to outstay our welcome. I just stayed there, and in the end, he went, "Listen, it's time," and I got somewhere else. Anyway, in this time, you know, like I wasn't like Bill. I didn't like have a spiritual experience immediately within my early recovery. I mean, I did abstinence-based, not a lot of recovery-based, being clean kind of recovery, which was a bit mad, and it was all right for a little bit because I was getting, like, I had some money in my pocket, I had a flat, a new TV, new trainers, new girlfriend, all of that kind of stuff felt all right for a bit. And as the time went on, I did pretty well. I think I got up to nearly a year before I wanted to kill myself, and I didn't know why I wanted to kill myself because there was no reason for it on the outside, really. Everything seemed okay, but something was deeply wrong. I was still sensitive and in self, and couldn't be in groups of people, and just full of fear. I have to say, I was feral. That's what I was. I used to open my door in Brighton. I didn't used to use keys. I just used to kick it. I promise you. And I slept with a hammer under my pillow because I was so scared, which is a little bit psychotic when you say. I'm so glad that things have changed now. And I was in another fellowship. It's a great fellowship and it saves loads of lives. But I was there and I was doing a bit of service, and I was doing meetings. But I just started hearing about the big book from the other table in the coffee shop. Like there used to be one table there and one table there. And I didn't like that table, I've got to say. I didn't like, and I would slag that table off quite a lot, tambourine, clapping, God Squad kind of thing. But I came to a place where I think it was a girl I fancied a bit, and she said, you should ask him. So I went, yeah, right, I'm going to ask him. And I asked this guy to help me and said, listen, you may be beyond help, but I can point you to something that can. And I started meeting up with him once a week. He was really harsh. I'm not harsh like this, but if I was early, I used to have to wait outside. It was Kevin, do you remember, Adi? So I used to have to wait outside, and if I was late, I had to wait till the week after, which is really harsh, isn't it? Like, it is harsh, I wouldn't do that. But it did teach me to be on time, because I didn't really have any... I thought the whole world revolved around me, and that other people's time wasn't as precious as mine. Thank goodness I've arrived. You can help me, it's going to help you. And anyway, he took me through the book. I got involved in the fellowship. I did some service. I told everybody else how they should recover, and I had the complete opinion on how other people should recover. I was still getting up to some pretty unrecovery stuff away from the meetings, while really shouting about God within the meetings. And that just coming up to cut the long story short, to just coming up to 6 years after that, I went into a cafe. I said to this guy, I knew Jamie, I said, Jamie, my uncle's coming down from Brighton, he likes to smoke a bit of weed. I don't do it. I'm in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. I haven't even sworn off. I just spilled out this regurgitated stuff at him. It was a normal guy, never been in recovery, didn't know anything about the big book, didn't even know. But I was saying this to him, and he just gave me the stuff. I went away. I got home. I began to. I really like the smell of weed, right? And I just thought I just wanted it to smell, because I like the smell of it. And then I skinned it up, and then before I knew it, before I'd even thought about it, I was halfway down it, and I was straight on slagging everybody off in here. Churchill, 6 years, they've lied to me, physical allergy, my TV's there, my money's in my pocket, nothing's gone wrong. So to celebrate not having the physical allergy, because I've become so spiritual, I phoned up to get the proper drugs, and and as soon as I did them, I knew the error of. I knew my error. I knew that this was not too smart an idea, right? I knew that probably wasn't your best idea, and they may have been right, because it just set me off. And I really tried to control it for a while by hanging around with people we call hard users. So these are people who will probably sometimes take the same drugs as us. In my experience, it was doing cocaine with these people, and they love cocaine, and I've got the 5 minute. And then it came to the end and it kind of ran out, and they made a half-assed attempt to get some tick, was unsuccessful, and said, we're going to bed, right? And my body doesn't understand that. My body screams for more. There is no going to bed. And I felt within there, I felt that desperation again that I don't feel around us lot when we're using, because it's normal for us, do you know what I mean, to keep going and not give up and do whatever it takes to get the next one. And I just ended up, and thank you God, I was still having some contact with people in recovery, although I wasn't too well. I remember people asking me to come to a meeting, and I was like, no, come for a snowball, the gear's good, you know, like no care for, you know, dangerous, like, but they were still, thank God they were protected by the 10-step promises, you know what I mean, because they needed to be. But I was still in contact, and I tried to go to meetings. I was loved back in, I was loved back in, and I was taught all over again what this takes. And it, for me, it takes unity. So I need to attend meetings regularly. I need a home group. I need to be committed. There needs to be a pretty good reason that I'm not at that commitment. Then there needs to be for me. I hold myself to that account. I need to be in service. At the moment, I'm just in home group service, but I do other service. I'm having a little bit of a break now because I did ever so well last year. And I need to be in the programme. I need to be sponsored. I need to be sponsored. I sponsor, so I need to be sponsored. And that has worked for me for 17 years today. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's been not so great. There's been some real emotional pain. Other times there's been joy that I couldn't describe. There's been laughter that I never thought I'd over really sick things, actually. I'm surprised at myself. There's been some real laughter. And my relationships have repaired, and I'm still growing. You know, it was only not too long ago that I found out that I needed to treat something else. Do you know what I mean? I'm not perfect, and when I don't do this, other things crop up, and I found out I had a problem to gambling. It really became. I really hit my rock bottom when I started using my own money to do it. Do you know what I mean? That's what bought me, and out of that has become some freedom to be honest. You know, like walking around like pretending everything's all right and it's not all right, and that gives me the courage, because I'm sure at some point everything is not going to be all right, and I'm going to need to blow myself up, and that saves me. That really, really saves me. But I would just like to thank everybody for listening to me, and I'll leave it there. Thank you.